Okay, quick Thursday morning radar update. So I'm going to look at a stock I've just entered for a swing today in this video, along with the usual look through the volume leaders and that. I think I'll look through the volume leaders last. So what's happening today? Efficient stocks bouncing. So we've got a punch through the opening range on the FTSE and the DAX. We've got an inside day on the risk markets are just taking a little breather. You can see that with the 250s inside day, and the small caps have actually taken the lows out. So, but still range bound on the opening range. So we'll see how that goes. But small caps look pretty perky in my portfolio. Let's just jump in there. And portfolios to new highs every day. This morning, this morning and yesterday's been unbelievable. Yesterday, obviously, but yesterday was just a few stocks. Today it's quite broad, melting a few of my stocks: SRC, CER, MRL, RBN. There's quite a few in there. I suppose MRL is normal pullback area. It popped quite strongly, didn't it? And it came back in, and that would be very normal in my world. I've just drawn out the potential for a base there as well, but that would be very normal action. Doesn't mean it will do it, but I'm riding this one obviously because it's in my portfolio. So what I wanted to do was just go through one of the most hated stocks for me. This one's been in a downtrend for a long time. There's been a lot of calls made on this stock. Now, I'm not making a call here, I'm making a reward to risk scenario. So let's just be honest with ourselves. This one hasn't visited 52-week highs in a long time. Since visiting 52-week lows, it's still lost another 70, nearly 80% of its price. It's lost 81% off highs. That's a monthly chart. Let's go down to the weekly chart. Sorry, daily chart, so we can see the 6-month highs here. In all that journey down, it's only visited 6-month highs once. Kind of, had a brush with them there, I suppose. And we've actually traded them this time. So we traded them this time as well. First things first, I am not going to take a position just because something is trading 6-month highs. Efficient main market stocks don't really favour breakout trades. Pullback trades, you get a lot more bang for your buck. So I trade pullbacks in efficient stocks for that reason. And yes, there was a little pullback here after bumping its head on 6-month highs. It never traded it, and then it came down back into the area here, and it tried to do something. But look at the price action of the stock. Absolutely no interest in this stock. Choppy, no interest sort of trading. Now look at it compared. We'll put the log scale on so we compare sort of like for like here. So real wide, loose, gappy action. A little bit more orderly. Just a little bit more, especially the last couple of days. It started trading a little bit more orderly. That's the first clue to me that it might be worth looking at. But the other clue to me is it's traded through 6-month highs. Not only has it traded through it, it's traded a higher high and another on a very sort of secondary sort of time frame, and into the voodoo average. As if any moving average had support resistance properties, it would be the voodoo average from a first thrust off the lows. If you want to know more about that, you have to visit my website. But first things first, I'm a pullback buyer of efficient markets, so It pains me to say that I've taken a trade on this today. Now, I've waited for the range to post and I've taken a position, and it's given me 12 to 1 just back to highs. So I'm targeting the highs, and it's not even going to be a paper cut if I get stopped out on this. If that alarm goes off and it trades, a buy goes through below that low. So it's not the spread triggering it, it's actually people are buying at a lower price. If that happens, I give the market a few pounds. It's literally such a small amount to the reward. What did I say it was? It's about 12 to 1. So it's a little paper cut for the chance of a nice, swing trade. I will take that trade all day long if it sets up for me how I like, what I'm showing here. Now, does this mean the bottom is in? Well, it could be, but I certainly wouldn't trade it for a trend trade myself. It's a swing trade for me. It is what it is. But as nibbles go, I've got my swing signal, I've got my reward to risk, it's in my swing zone, it's done something what stocks what are trying to bottom will do. They'll trade 6 month highs. If they can't trade 6 month highs, they're not rising, they're still falling. It's done a few things, and it's in a very high reward to risk scenario. I'll say it again, do not take trade tips. Take this apart, put it in a demo account, see how the maths works. If you if you win as a 2 and you lose as a 1 and you right half the time, you make, you're doing okay. It's as simple as that. 12 to 1. If every trade was 12 to 1, that would be happy days. But in the real world, they're not. So it is what it is. Do not trade live money on other people's ideas. Use it for methodology. Moving on. That's what I've done this morning. Could be out before this video loads. Really could be. So, moving on from there, I think I'll jump straight into the volume leaders. Quite a long video this morning, but we try and do a bit of process every day. It's 9:48. We should have traded 21% to be on average volume. That would be about 30% to be on conviction. 32%. Not much in the leaders today. There's only 25 in the large caps. And when I go through these, most will be continuation, but I would look for ones, we see TriFast. It's actually managed to, same scenario, isn't it? But on a very choppy stock. It's probably a similar story, but we're seeing that in that little zone there as well, aren't we? But you've got to commit to something a little bit different, taking a stock like that. Always looking for the new sort of emerging stocks rather than the ex-leaders. And we can talk more on that, what most people do. Obviously, I'm in that one as well. What most people do is they'll be following the gores of the market, or the fever trees when that was having a great run. And the outliers, everyone wants a piece of the outlier, like they did with GME the other week. Everyone wants a piece of the outlier. And, you've got to look at the front screen and say, how do I position for that big trending stock? And that's not found in the rearview mirror after a huge trending move. No, you've got to go and look for the emerging trends and then commit to them. So 21% in the small caps. I can tell you now, small caps are still on volume. Healthy small cap market. So I'll fly through these, PHE moved out of that little base, didn't it? And it's consolidating. SRC, obviously I'm in that one, that's moved out. CKT, this is a lose less scenario. Tick up in turnover, but decelerating. Q on Q earnings per share was plus 49.8. Solly, this one's kind of steady. It's not exciting growth figures in it, but steady. This one's got a tick down in its forward numbers. This one's got no forward numbers. This is a lose less. No forward, no forward. RBN tick up in this one as well. I think it's decelerating, but it's huge tick up. It adds such a huge tick up from 0.7 to 1.5. Pretty thin numbers. But turnover 6, 7. Can't tell whether it's accelerating or not on the turnover. Huge quarter-on-quarter numbers. 260%, 290% plus. Return to growth on this one. This is kind of a one-trick pony, so Sharescope's trying to update. 1 second. One-trick pony. I did actually sell it here back in the day, right at the highs, and never saw it again for how many years? 3, 6, 7 years, and then it just emerged in the COVID, like a lot of stocks did. Return to growth on this DX one. It's a bit rear view now for us, but hopefully it just trends off into the future for anyone who's on board. Cadence was from the if you came to the free screening session we did, it's on my Twitter account. We talked about Cadence for this day here. We call them POSs because they're just blue sky stocks. Everything gets the same tag. I'm not involved. Tick down in the forward numbers. So as I go through these numbers, I know I repeat myself a lot, but I'm looking at the earnings per share year on year, profit year on year, turnover year on year, quarter on quarter for everything, or half on half depending on what it posted last. I'm looking at all these. I'm looking for accelerating, decelerating, return to growth. I do that on the screen you can't see in sort of real time as I go through these. I'm not just looking at the chart. So you get to choose what you want to trade towards. So, you know, you can jump in the car what's got, you know, it's running on fumes, you know, or you with the rumour of a petrol station around the corner, or you can jump in the car what's already got, you know, a full tank of gas is the, you know, perfect scenario and firing on all cylinders. So you get to choose what, you know. I prefer growth. I will trade anything, but I'll try and weight my portfolio in the best growth stocks I can find for my methodology. And you know, through doing that, you get some huge winners. The future is unknown, but I like to get that slingshot into the trend. Low risk entry, high reward scenario. So we'll just jump back to the markets and see what we're doing here. DAX takes a little higher high there. Okay, we'll see what today brings. Fantastic day, fantastic market.